Hey guys, Youthful Yields. Today we're going to be going over the portfolio for the week. So to start off, we can see that the entire market is quite red all over, pretty much every sector. There's a few here that are doing okay, such as semiconductor equipment, which is interesting. Obviously some oil stuff and some other minor stuff. But most of the market's pretty red, I'd say. So we can look at that for the week. S&P down about 1.49%. Our total portfolio is down 2.36%. Composer makes up about 6% of that. Well, not of that, but it's down 6%. And One Finance is down only 3%, and Webull is down 9.19%. You can see we definitely lost a lot of money since my last video. I want to say around $3,000 or $4,000. Unfortunately, that's just due to bad timing on the strategy on Composer. So we kind of went into TQQQ when the market went down, then we went into SQQQ when the market went back up, and so on and so forth. So quite a seesaw event there. But that brings me right into TQQQ as a whole. So we can come over here, portfolio as a whole on Composer. You can see here how we're sitting. So quite a bit down, but I do feel like this is going to keep coming back up. This is just something that I brought up where this is kind of expected, right? We're going to be losing a large percentage of, like, the even if we just run the OOS, you can see the max drawdown is 49 or 47%. I'm sorry. So, since 2011, this has done 47% down. So it's not like we're not prone to losses, right? So right now we're sitting around 34%. You can see that it has fallen quite sharply, unfortunately. It's done something like this before, though, so only time will tell to see how well this adapts, but I still have my faith in it. It's just one of those things that it's going to take time to come back up, so. Right now we're sitting in SQQQ, so we can take a look at probably futures in a second, but those are not, at least not recently, and haven't been indicative of the day. Most of the time it's actually been the opposite, which is kind of funny. So in terms of M1 Finance, we can take a look here. You go to here, and so oil or energy is done well, right? So we have Shell. It's at the top here, about 5.8 or 5.5%. And we also have utilities. Best one there was from NextEra. Then we have consumer staples. The biggest gainer there was from Coca-Cola. On the opposite side of things, financials, the biggest loser there was from MasterCard. And consumer discretionary, the biggest loser there was from Home Depot. And last but not least, real estate, the biggest loser there was from AMT. So if we go to the activity here, we don't actually, well, actually we do. So we had a few dividends actually. So we had Exxon for 660, Chevron for $8.70, Eli Lilly for $2.40, Microsoft for $4.76, O Realty Income Group at $1.75, and Honeywell at $4.87, which ended up actually causing us to buy something. So that was Morgan Stanley there. And taking a look in the holdings, you can see here how we have Google, AMD, and RTX kind of just still there. So those have been in the top three. And then we have 7 companies in the red right now. Microsoft down still about 11.5%. MasterCard down 10%. Visa down 10%. Home Depot down 7.3%. I feel like that one came pretty recently. AMT down 7%. That's been in the red for a while. Procter & Gamble 3%, and Amazon down. Costco actually went back up, and I want to say there's another one here, but pretty decent, I would say. So On Webull side of things, week looked like this. So we had about 8% drop, then a little bit up, about 0.5%, then about 0.2%, then 1%, and then down 3%. So just really not enough gain on the dailies to come back off the losses, which sucks. But last but not least, to end off the video, you can see here, this is the strategy, the Holy Grail strategy that I have plugged up in here on Trading View. So you can see here, the green is when we'd be holding TQQQ, and you can see right now either between SKQQ or BSV. So right now, for all 3 days, we've actually, or 4 days, 4 or 5 days? I want to say 4 days. We've held SKQQ. So this is a chart of, the background is really what we show, what we would be in. And then these are the moving averages. There's nothing here that shows us the actual gain of that strategy, but point is, you can see when we went at SKQQ that day, we went up that next period, and then we went TQQQ, then it went down, then we went up after holding SKQQ, but luckily we caught. So like that's the whole falling knife kind of thing. But well, I guess it's less about that, more about it just going back and forth between the signal. But you can see we're getting very close, and I mean very close, where the long is over the short. The long MA is over the short MA. We're getting super close there. You can see we're within one. We're actually even closer than that. We're about 0.4 away. So this is the closest we've been in. I mean, I think this is the closest we've been since the last drop. So you can see here was the tariff stuff. This one fell a lot faster than this did. If we go back a little bit here, let's just be 2022. Kind of same story there. We go back faster. Here, same story there. I think this one maybe is a little bit closer to our current scenario, but you can see what ends up happening is we'll go into this thing, we'll hold it for long enough, and then we'll end up going back into GQQQ when we kind of discover that, hey, we're probably in like an oversold territory, for example. So let's see here. This is an interesting period where it kind of went up. So this would kind of be what we are in right now. But yeah, back to 2013, September 2011. So it just really depends, I'd say. Ultimately, things are going to potentially go back up. Like you can see here, this is in 2020 when COVID happened, how fast that kind of rocketed back up. I mean, the whole industry kind of had that great thing, but we ended up catching at a really good time. But you can see here that we actually were in Soxal briefly, then went into SKQQ and then Soxal. But so in this case where we were in the yellow, this would have been bad actually, because you can see that this would have been falling. I can almost guarantee that Soxal looked like this at the time. It was probably very similar to TQQQ where it's going down. And so when we were in these yellow periods, it's actually a really bad time. And even right here was a bad time, but then we still ended up catching quite a lot of that upside here. And we continued catching it, you know. So a few things here with UVXY, but and then when we hit into 2022, you can see the yellow would have been the Soxal again, so kind of a weird position there. But then we started transitioning into SQQQ, which was a very good time here, and then back into TQQQ, perfect timing there. SQQQ mixed with Soxal, so pretty decent there. This would have been kind of interesting, probably lost a little money here going back into TQQQ, but then we went in SQQQ and back into TQQQ, SQQQ. So we like had a pretty good amount of flip-flop, but that would have been a good period for us. And then this obviously was a distant period as well. So I'm just hoping for something like this, right? Like obviously we're really close, especially at this scale. You can see how far that really was before it kind of crossed over. It was kind of a fast thing, where this has been slowly inching towards it for a while. So it's kind of a unique thing. And you can see how flat it's been since, I mean, maybe this isn't the best to scale map or chart, but you can see since at least like, I want to say like, October, November, we've been very choppy. We've just started slowly going down. And so that's why that has shifted. So we'll see. We might hit this tomorrow. Who knows? Let me try to see if I can get back in here. Not like a pro by any means on using these charts, but you can see kind of how fast. So here we were, I want to say, so that was about 0.4, about 0.5. So it is getting close. I mean, we can kind of see, obviously, it's gotten closer. I just want to see how fast it's kind of moved. Because you can see, I feel like from here, and then, yeah, so like this candle really did damage. But we'll see. We'll see. There's only really anything, that's the only thing we can really do. Let me see if I can find the futures real quick. I think it's, maybe I have it here. So let's see. NQ does look like it's up right now. Who knows if that's going to continue? Like I said, if it does what it's been doing, where it just goes in the opposite, it's actually a good sign. Sometimes it doesn't do that, so it just kind of depends. But we're hoping that actually just flip-flop and basically just goes red. We'll see. But yeah, guys, that is it for me. And as always, I wish you guys well in the future.